Greetings and salutations. Welcome to Knife Chats with Tobias. Okay, this episode is going to be on this knife here, the 2418, the RR2418 StoneWorx, and it is not truly a knife, it is actually a straight razor. This is the third straight razor that I have bought. Now, before I get into looking at this knife, I want to address a couple questions that, or a couple concerns that have come up on a couple of the videos that I posted on this, and that is about the stones here popping loose and everything. I have heard people saying that. I have yet to experience it. I did carry this toothpick for a good 2 months. By carrying it, I meant, it was carried daily, 7 days a week for 2 months straight, 8 to 10 hours a day. It was used occasionally. I did keep it in a little slip in my pocket because it was riding alongside of my my phone, and I did mention that I was doing that primarily for protecting my phone screen more than the knife. And when I had a pocket free and this knife was just riding in the pocket alone, which is the way my knife usually will ride, in a pocket by itself, it was just in the pocket, no slip, no nothing, and it held up fine. Will a stone pop off? Who knows? Maybe eventually it will. It really depends on how you carry your knife and what you're doing with your knife. This day and age, the hardest thing that it gets used on a knife is basically the blade, at least for me, and that's usually if I'm having to cut some hoses or I'm having to cut some carpet or something like that. Mostly what happens with this knife is it rides in my pocket. I cut up some cardboard boxes, things of that nature. I think that's what most people do, and occasionally, you cut up some meat with it, or you cut off, you peel an apple with it, spread some peanut butter with it, whatever. That's usually what's happening with this knife. Am I out there at a construction site stirring concrete with it, trying to bust up something with it or anything like that? No. Am I trying to play mumbly peg with it in like a on a hard street or something like that, or digging asphalt out of the ground with it or anything like that? Am I tapping stuff in? Am I using it as a hammer or anything like that? No. Would any of that probably cause more damage to the stones? Absolutely. So it really depends on how hard you're using the knife, if it's going to get damaged or not. My experience has been, as a light to possibly as much as a medium duty knife, these StoneWorx knives hold up just fine. Now, if you're using it in hard use, and if you treat your knife rough and you don't really care about it getting beat up or scratched or anything like that, yeah, you might lose a stone on that, because they are just glued on. I don't know how good of a quality epoxy is holding them in there or anything like that. I know that the nickel silver spacers add a little bit of tension to the stones. My experience so far with the older Rough Ryder knives, I don't know about the newer Rough Ryder knives, the older StoneWorx knives that I have that are 10, 12 years old, there has been no shrinkage in any of this. And I carried one of the large toothpicks on special occasions, so it was getting carried probably once or twice a month, or every Sunday I would be carrying a large toothpick. So it got carried probably as much as this did over a 2 month period, but over 5 or 6 years worth of carry. So to me, I think the strength is there. I know other people are going to have a different experience with it, and I get that. And I understand it. People have shown me evidence. You didn't have to show me evidence. I know that, if you drop something like this when it's just glued on or something, a stone might pop off or something like that. Like I said, I've dropped it as far as about 4 or 5 feet down to a wood floor and down to a carpeted floor, a carpeted floor over concrete, so there was some padding there. I have not tried to break it. I have not tried to knock a stone loose. So far, I've been fine with it. However, results will vary. There's no doubt about it. If you try hard enough, I guarantee you can knock one of those stones out. But that has not been my experience. I think, with that said, I'm done with that. If you've had other experiences with the stones falling off or something like that, I'm sorry to hear that. Take it up with Rough Ryder. Take it up with Smoky Mountain Knife Works. They'll replace the knife for you. And because they do have that money back guarantee, back for life, so on and so forth. So there you have that. Okay, on to the straight razor. Now, before I even begin, let me come right out and profess my total ignorance of straight razors. I have never collected straight razors. I've got 3 of them. They came about via happenstance. I will talk about all 3 of these very briefly and then give a more fuller review of what I think about this one after that. But first, what I am going to come out and say is the stone pattern on this. I really like the way they've laid out the stones on here. You got the black mother of pearl here. You've got the bloody basin jasper on both ends, and then you've got the strip there. The turquoise, the white mother of pearl, and then abalone in the middle. You got a pin up here. You got brass liners here, and you notice how those brass liners kind of pinch into the blade, because this is just a free-flowing blade. It's a friction folder. The only thing holding this blade in place is the pivot, and when you push down, it sort of locks into the handle, but a simple touch and it will fly open. And it definitely moves freely from about, here, see, all the way around. And then it'll stop back here somewhere. I have tested it. Matter of fact, this is take 2 on here, but here was the first test about 3 weeks ago, and then just right there just now, and you can see that if you're talking hair shaving sharp, yes, it is hair shaving sharp. I have no intention of trying that on my face because I've never used a straight razor. And one thing to shave a little hair off the back of your arm, which anyone with a knife has probably done at one time in their life or another, it's totally different when you're going to use it on your face. First of all, whiskers are a little tougher than arm hair. That's one thing I know for a fact. And so if somebody has actually used this to shave their face, let me know. Or any of the Rough Ryder straight razors. Maybe some people have actually done it. I know a lot of people like to collect these. I've just never, it just never really got to that point where I wanted a bunch of straight razors. I still want one more. That would be one in white smooth bone. But it's not something that, if I never have a white smooth bone straight razor, I am not going to cry in my pillow at night. Let's just put it that way. All right, sorry about that. I'm fostering a cat right now, and she is just one little pesky booger. Nice kitty cat, but just very pesky, and loves to just like nibble at your feet. Anyway, what I like about it are the stones. They look really nice. I like the way they lay out. And that's one of the cool things about the StoneWorx series. It seems like the larger the knife, especially long and slim, like the toothpick, when they're long and slim, the stones just seem to pop better and they just look better. Now, like I said, this is the 3rd of my Rough Ryder razors, straight razors, and they all act a little bit differently. Now, the first one was in the tortoise shell. And what's more, it was a collector's edition straight razor. They had this whole series of razors. It was that they came out with. And, well, let me shake the box open. And this was, I think these were the first straight razors that they made. This one was in tortoise shell, like I mentioned. And if you notice, there's no liner on there. It is just a celluloid handle. And you've got a little bit of engraving on the blade there, the reverse frosted edge going on. Nice and easy, does it every time. And then you got the woman's leg there, Rough Ryder right there, RIDER. And it's nice and tight. It's got a very nice tight pivot. It's loose up until about here, and then it tightens up. Bring it around, get it straight. It's going to stay in place there. And then obviously you can bring it all the way back around this way. So where you move it to, it tends to stay because it's got a really tight pivot. And if you notice, the handles are just a plastic handle, so you can squeeze it tight, and then you definitely kind of lock things in place a bit. But the problem with it also is the blade, you can push it so far down into the handle because it has that flexibility that the blade actually can come out a little bit on the other side. See there? And that could be a bit problematic when you go to grab it. And then you saw how quickly it pops out when you push down on it. But anyway, if you just seat it properly, it's fine. I keep thinking I need to put a little stop pin through there, and I probably will do that. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. So that's the first one I got, and I really did like it. I like the way the tortoiseshell looks when the blade is in place. Doesn't look quite as nice when the blade is out, but you get that blade behind there, and the tortoiseshell looks really nice. And then the other one I have over here is the Easy Money series, and that one is built on the same frame that we have here. Now, I had about 3 or 4 knives in the Easy Money series. I think the only other Easy Money knife that I reviewed though was the Canoe. In any case, they have all since left my my collection because of, well, Easy Money series had the Big R, and I was downsizing, and the Big R Rough Riders were the first ones to leave the collection. I kept the Easy Money Straight Razor because, well, there's no Big R on it, and I just like the novelty of the knife. You've got the acrylic cover over what is basically shredded US currency. That's why the name Easy Money. So I liked it. And this one also, if you notice, has the, if we can see it there, Rough Ryder, RIDER. These are still in the Rough Ryder old series, RIDER. These were transitioning over. These came out after they had mentioned the name change, the Rough Ryder RYDER, but these were already in the pipeline before then. You got the Easy Money blade edge. That was on all of the Easy Money series. And if you notice with this one, notice it's got a very tight pivot. Still got the brass liners, and it seats well. You can't push it down too far, but it's just the action is real tight on this, and for me that feels a whole lot safer than what I have on my Rough Ryder StoneWorx Straight Razor. I wish the blade acted more like this one acts, with a nice tight pivot. Now I don't know if they changed that up or not, but if you notice here, you've got the brass collar going around the pivot pin on this side. It's kind of like a itty bitty bird's eye rivet going on here. This one, you just have a much smaller pin and a much smaller pivot ring there that is going through. So it's a different type of rivet. It's got a pin here going into the rivet end over here. See, it's much smaller, and it just doesn't seem as tight. I don't know if that's a big deal or not. Like I said, I just don't know enough about straight razors. But what I do want to mention is, if you're thinking that the pivot on this was too tight, then I think you're going to like the pivot on this straight razor, which could basically act like a guillotine the way it comes down, because it's very free moving. But if you would prefer a tighter one, I don't know. I don't know if they're all like this. I don't know if this is just the one that is like that. But to me, it just feels a whole lot safer with a tighter pivot. But like I said, I just don't know enough about straight razors to say if that's a problem or not. Maybe someone out there could fill me in on that. What I bought it for, it was really to fill in the StoneWorx series. It's not like I'm going to be using this for anything. I think the most it has done so far, besides cutting a little bit of paper and scraping a sticker off of a board, I think those are the two things that it's done, and shaving a little hair off my hand. That's about it, and that's probably all that it will ever do, because I'm not a person who's going to be using the straight razor. And you may not see another straight razor on the channel because it's just not something I normally collect. But with that said, I probably will hang on to the Easy Money straight razor. I know I'm keeping the tortoiseshell because I'm in a tortoiseshell. I have a tortoiseshell collection. This one was definitely bought for the StoneWorx collection. The main reason I think I'll keep the Easy Money one is because usually I like to have a group of 5 of anything, and this would be a 3. I'm well on my way to 4 and 5. Definitely looking for, I would love to find one in white smooth bone. I'd love Rough Ryder to just come out with one in white smooth bone. I don't know if that'll ever happen, but that would be ideal for me to get one in a white smooth bone from Rough Ryder. That would be 4, and then I would just need one more of something. I don't know, mother of pearl, abalone, something like that. I think that'd be kind of cool. Heaven knows, the last thing I would like to see is a straight razor in micarta, but I can just picture that happening. Oh my gosh, a straight razor with micarta covers. Yeah, just what I want. Anyway, that's about all I really have to say about this. I mean, I bought it purely to fill in the collection, because I'm getting everything in the StoneWorx line. This is one of them that I picked up. The next one I have in line that you'll be seeing soon is this one here. This is the, what do they call it? They call it the small moose, which I think is just a crime. They should have never called it the small moose. They really should have called it the mini moose, but then I guess they're afraid of Disney. Any case, stick around for some slides. I'll let you go now. Let me take just a second to thank you once again for dropping by and spending a few minutes here at Knife Chats with Tobias. I really do appreciate it. and I do appreciate any comments that you leave. So please remember to give me that thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you'll know when the next episode is up and running. Thanks again for dropping by. Really do appreciate your time here.